All right, it's time to talk about it right now. I just come back from the movie theater from watching the brand new Demon Slayer movie, Infinity Castle arc. Yep, new movie to officially come out of the US, of course. This movie came out pretty early in the summer, but it wasn't available to us till right now in September. And I finally got the chance to watch it right here, right now. And I'm going to share my thoughts and feelings of how I feel about this movie. So, if you don't know, Demon Slayer, the movie Infinity Castle, is the follow up to last year's Hashira Train arc season, which I have said once and I've said in numerous videos now up until this point, if you've been following me, and that is that this season was basically mid. It was pretty forgettable. The only good moments in the show were the last two episodes that really started hyping the Infinity Castle arc that we know now. But regardless, we knew that the Hush Return was going to not be like the best season going into the Demon Slayer franchise. After all, considering that we are talking about moments that it's like a bit of like a filler gap in between this and the next big arc. It makes a lot of sense because their last official arc was back in 2022 or sorry 2023 with the Swordsmith Village arc, which has been touted by many hardcore Demon Slayer fans as another low point in the Demon Slayer franchise. Some consider it to be the weakest of the bunch, but I highly disagree given all the compliments and complaints about the show nonetheless. But I will say that with this new Demon Slayer movie, The Infinity Castle, this is not it, by the way. They're gonna break this up to like 3 episodes specifically, or in this case, 2 more movies past this point, because again, at the end of the day, this is the last arc. This is the pretty lengthy, chunky arc at the end of the day, and it makes a lot of sense why they gotta break up to 3 big movies. And this movie is not one to budge to. We're not talking like an hour long movie. This movie was like 3 hours long to sit through, and there's a lot to process in this film. And I'm going to do my best to not giving away any spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched the movie right now. But I'm going to tippy toe around it when I get the chance. So we'll start with some compliments. I love the animation in this movie. It's still really good, still really clean, still bringing out what makes Demon Slayer amazing in the first place. There were moments that I was getting like a little bit of, like the Red Light District arc era type of animation at certain points in the movie. And yes, maybe there are going to be some animation snubs out there that says that, oh, there's a lot of 3D CGI in this film that's in there. It's not a lot. Get a grip. It's really good. It's still nice quality at the end of the day. After all, this is the same studio that has given us the previous series up until this point with UFO Table. So animation is fire. Music is great. The voice acting is incredible. It is passionate. It is full of charisma. And this movie really does well in a way where, again, like I mentioned with showing out the Red Light District arc, there are moments in the film where it captures what made Red Light District arc special, but now in a much more condensed, much more simple movie that you can watch right here, right now. And I love it because, again, at the end of the day, this first episode of this Infinity Castle movie is not going to cover every character, every Hashira, every demon that's fighting other demons. It's only going to cover like the main highlights that we want to go and get to right here and there. And case in point, if you already watched the trailer of who to come, there's some pretty big figures that actually fight some pretty big names. Case in point, I'm just gonna get through the big one with Tanjiro going up against Akaza, who is like the main protagonist that everyone knows about for how long since the Mugen Train arc movie came out back in 2020 to be exact. And this fight between Tanjiro, Akaza, and another Hashira, which I'm not going to spoil, was absolutely freaking incredible. And the depths of like how characters think on their feet and trying to find ways to defeat each other is so remarkable, so amazing. Getting to know Akaza's backstory, which again, not going to spoil, was incredible, but also goddamn depressing when you get to know why this dude became an Upper Moon 3 in the first place and how he became a demon and his backstory. Because at the end of the day, all these demons have a pretty depressing backstory if you know how Demon Slayer works up to this point. And Akaza is no different at the end of the day. So there are moments like that where it's just really cool, really heartfelt. There are some pretty big character deaths that are, without doubt, going to shape in and really foreshadow what is to come in the next 2 movies for sure. But I would like to also give like some highlights to some really cool full upper moon demons that I'm so glad finally got like the animation treatment deserves, and that's Doma and freaking Kokishibo. Both of these two finally get the animation treatment, and my god, both of their respective voice actors and artists, like they're so goddamn good and clean, and like holy shit, I was like blown away by how cool their character designs are. Still to this day, like they're really good and just really menacing, especially from what I remember back in the manga. And of course, if for anyone who's like a hardcore manga reader, there's some pretty big things that happen in this film that really um, get shapen up to what's to come in this film, as I alluded to. But with that being said, there is one character in the show that we never got a lot of flesh in the bones with for the longest time now, and that is Zenitsu. Zenitsu freaking shows up. Again, if you watch the final episode of the Hashira Train arc of that season and the teaser trailer, you know Zenitsu is going to play a pretty big role in this movie, and by God, he actually does. He actually gets the character development treatment he deserves, and we finally get to know why he only gets to know one breeding technique this whole time, because he comes across a upper demon who essentially has learned the other techniques and like the origins of the thunder breeding techniques that have happened in the first place. And it's really good, it's really profound, it's really like personal too for like how Zenitsu is treated here. He's not like the awkward stupid character that we've come to know and love at this point. He's now like all business, kicking ass, taking names. Like he's serious about what's going on, and it's really good. It's so goddamn convincing and at times really menacing. But this is where I run into a problem. The problem with this one is that when Zenitsu finally meets up with the sixth upper demon, who is the one in charge of such, I think that this demon in particular didn't get the fleshed out treatment that it deserved, in my opinion. It felt like his was honestly shorter than a lot of the other demons that we've mentioned in that were portraying this film as of right now. And I just wish they fleshed him out a little bit more because I'm not gonna lie, his character design was really cool, but I just wish that there was a lot more flesh and bones put into this demon to actually feel for him, actually sympathize with him. Because at the end of the day, he kind of just like fiddled out like that one demon from the Swordsman Village arc that just died instantaneously, and I still don't even know what the hell his name is to this day. But again, either way, the fight between these two were flashy. It was amazing. It was gorgeous. It's just that there was that moment that felt like, man, there was a connection, but it felt like a fleeting moment, unfortunately. And then again, there are also moments in this film where you're gonna have like a lot. Given that this is like a pretty big hype film, there's gonna be moments where you see like one Hashira or one Demon Slayer fighting against other demons to flex and showcase what they have, and that's cool. That's amazing. But it kind of gives off the impression that okay, we're gonna see every one of these characters, even all the Hashiras in this movie, fight. And at the end of it, we don't get to see all of them fight, if that makes sense. But I think that's for the sake of fan service, given like how flashy, how amazing the show and how successful it is in general, which makes a lot of sense. But again, overall, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, it's pretty good. This was a really good, not perfect movie, but given that we only have two more movies coming up in the near future, it's gonna be excuse me, it's gonna be kind of hard to figure out how they're going to surpass this at this point. But with some pretty big character deaths that happen in this show and some pretty big moments that happen in the show, I am going to be looking forward to what the next two movies are having in store in the near future. So yeah, if I had to give this bad boy a ring overall, I give this thing right now like a light to decent 8 on the first episode as of right now, and leave it at that. But yeah, the movie is really good. It's well worth the watch, and just want to talk about this a little bit. That's it. I'll see you on the next one. Later.